2 years ago, my world shattered completely. My heart ached as I learned the truth that changed my life forever. My husband, the man I had trusted and loved, had been unfaithful to me. The pain of betrayal was already unbearable, but what made it even worse was discovering who the other woman was. It was my younger sister. As if that wasn't enough, they had the audacity to send me an invitation to their wedding. To my shock, my mother planned to attend. The betrayal I felt wasn't just from my husband but also from my family, the people who were supposed to support me. It was as if my world had crumbled into tiny pieces, and there was nothing I could do to put it back together. My name is Teresa, and my story begins a few years before all of this happened. I used to work at a well-known company, where I held a senior position. I was responsible for training new employees, and that's where I met Thomas. At first, he didn't seem very reliable, but there was something about him. He was kind, hardworking, and eager to learn. I patiently guided him through his work, and over time, we formed a strong connection. I still remember the day he asked me out. My heart pounded with excitement. Our professional relationship turned into something more, something special. We dated for 7 months, and during that time, I watched Thomas grow into a confident and competent employee. He earned the respect of his colleagues, and I felt proud knowing that I had helped him get there. His career advanced quickly, and he was soon promoted to a different department. Not long after, he proposed to me. I was overjoyed. Our wedding was beautiful, and my family welcomed Thomas warmly. My younger sister, Judy, who was the same age as Thomas, bonded with him almost immediately. She had recently ended a long-term relationship and often talked about how she envied our love. At the time, I thought nothing of it. After we got married, life seemed perfect. I continued to work hard in my career while also supporting Thomas in his. I made sure our home was a place of comfort and love. But slowly, things began to change. About a year into our marriage, I noticed that Thomas was coming home later and later. At first, I believed his excuses about work keeping him busy, but deep inside, I felt a growing unease. As time passed, we barely ate meals together, and conversations between us became shorter and colder. One evening, I finally confronted him. "Thomas, is everything okay at work? You've been coming home so late. If there's anything I can do to help, please tell me." "There isn't," he replied, his tone sharp and distant. He used to share everything with me, but now, even the simplest questions seemed to irritate him. On his days off, instead of spending time with me, he would sleep the entire day or leave the house without telling me where he was going. I felt us drifting apart, and I was desperate to fix things. I thought maybe we just needed time together, so I planned a short getaway. "Hey, Thomas, how about we go to a spa next month?" My sister recommended a really nice place. "A spa, huh?" He didn't seem interested, but I went ahead and made the reservations anyway, hoping the trip would help us reconnect. A week before the trip, I reminded him. "Thomas, what time should we leave next week?" He looked confused. "Oh, is that next week? I forgot to tell you, I have a business trip that weekend." "But we planned this weeks ago," I said, disappointment filling my voice. "Well, work is work, I can't do anything about it," he said simply. Reluctantly, I canceled our trip. On the weekend we were supposed to go, he left early for his so-called business trip. I was heartbroken but tried to accept it. Then, something unexpected happened. The hotel I had booked called me. Apparently, my cancellation hadn't gone through, and they wanted to confirm my arrival time. I had already decided not to go, but then an idea struck me. Maybe I could take Judy instead. I called my parents' house, but they told me Judy had left early in the morning. That was odd. Feeling lonely, I decided to ask my mother to come with me instead. To my surprise, she agreed. "Really, Mom, you don't mind?" I asked. "I'm more worried about you," she said. "You need a break." I was touched by her kindness. Maybe this trip wouldn't be a waste after all. We packed our bags and left, hoping for a peaceful escape, but the moment we arrived at the hotel, my world turned upside down. "Mom, look at that," I gasped. There, right in front of us, was Thomas. He was supposed to be on a business trip, yet here he was, smiling and holding another woman close. As they walked toward the hotel entrance, the woman turned, and my heart nearly stopped. It was Judy. Everything went blank. My mother and I left immediately. Though I barely remember the trip home, I felt like I was drowning in betrayal and pain. My mother made tea to help calm me down. but no amount of warmth could soothe the cold, sharp reality of what I had just witnessed. After regaining some composure, I decided to confirm my suspicions. I called Thomas's workplace, only to learn that there hadn't been any business trips scheduled for months. The truth was clear: he had been lying to me all along, and Judy, my own sister, had been involved in it. I was furious. The sadness was still there, but my anger overpowered it. "Mom, I'm divorcing Thomas," I said firmly, "and I don't want to see Judy anymore." My mother didn't argue, she simply nodded, understanding my pain. Before Thomas returned home, I packed my things and moved out. I left divorce papers on the table along with a letter explaining that all legal matters would be handled through my lawyer. I also made sure to block him from contacting me. I even refused to give my parents my new address, just in case Judy or Thomas tried to find me. Even though Thomas and I worked in the same company, I ignored him completely. He must have realized how serious I was because he signed the divorce papers without causing a scene. Our colleague sensed something was wrong but respectfully avoided the topic. 2 years passed. I had no contact with Thomas or Judy. I tried my best to move on. Then, one evening, after returning home from work, I found my mother waiting outside my apartment. "Mom, what's wrong?" I asked, feeling uneasy. She held out an envelope. "This is from Thomas and Judy," she said softly. I hesitated before opening it. Inside was a wedding invitation. Judy had moved in with Thomas, and now they were getting married. They had invited our parents, but not me. I swallowed hard. "Are you going?" My mother sighed. "Of course not." For the first time in a long while, I felt relieved. At least my mother still stood by my side. And with that, I closed the door to my past, ready to face a new future without them. I sat quietly, watching the slideshow with a puzzled expression. Something felt strange. The first picture appeared on the screen, and my breath caught in my throat. It wasn't Judy's baby picture, it was mine. At first, I thought it might be a simple mistake. After all, as babies, Judy and I looked quite similar. But as more photos flashed across the screen, it became clear that this slideshow wasn't about Judy at all. It was about me. The guests, unaware of the brewing storm, smiled and chuckled at the nostalgic pictures, but I saw Judy's expression tighten. Her knuckles turned white as she gripped her bouquet. Then, the MC's voice echoed through the hall. "Since she was young, the bride has always been devoted to her family, a diligent student who succeeded in entering her desired university." Murmurs spread through the crowd. Some of Judy's friends exchanged confused glances. "Wait a minute. Judy didn't go to that university," someone whispered. "Isn't that from a company event?" Another guest muttered. "Judy never worked there." Even Thomas, standing beside his bride, furrowed his brows. "What the hell is this?" he muttered under his breath. The slideshow continued, detailing a love story, my love story. The MC spoke about how the bride met Thomas at work, how she mentored him, how they fell in love. The pictures on the screen, they were from my life, my past with Thomas. Photo after photo flashed, each one a painful reminder that this was supposed to be my happily ever after. Then, the final betrayal. The wedding slideshow transitioned to pictures from my wedding with Thomas. Gasps filled the room. Whispers grew louder. At that moment, my mother stepped forward. She walked up to the stage and took the microphone from the MC. Her voice was calm but firm. "From here on, I will explain everything," she announced. The guests turned their attention to her as she began to speak. She described how I had supported Thomas in every way, emotionally, professionally, and personally, how, despite his busy schedule, I remained patient and understanding. Then, she told the room about the trip I had planned, a relaxing getaway to help him de-stress. "Wait, please," Thomas tried to interrupt, but my mother didn't stop. She clicked to the next slide. A photograph of Thomas. A photograph of Thomas walking into a hotel. And he wasn't alone. The woman beside him, Judy. Silence fell over the room. The realization hit everyone at once. My husband had been having an affair with my own sister. Murmurs erupted. "This is a joke, right?" someone whispered. "Are we at a wedding or an exposé?" another muttered. My mother kept going. She explained how Thomas had lied, telling me he had an urgent business trip, when in reality, he was meeting Judy. She revealed that I had found out the truth by accident when I ended up taking my mother on that spa trip instead. Thomas had promised to love and cherish my daughter, Teresa, my mother said, her voice steady, but instead, he betrayed her, with her own sister. Mother, stop it already, Judy finally snapped. Tears welled in her eyes as she tried to regain control. This is my wedding day, why are you ruining it? My mother looked at her, unshaken. I have always wanted you to be happy, Judy, but not at the expense of your sister. Judy's lips trembled. You're just jealous. Teresa always pretends to be the perfect one, but she's not. Thomas, his face red with frustration, tried to intervene. Mother-in-law, please, you love both your daughters, right? Can't you just be happy for us? My mother's gaze was cold. How can I celebrate a marriage built on lies and betrayal? She asked. Tell me, Thomas, if you were so proud of this wedding, why didn't you invite a single person from your workplace? Thomas opened his mouth, but no words came out. He had no answer. With that, my mother and father turned and left. The room was left in stunned silence. Then, my phone rang. It was my mother. Did you see that, Teresa? She asked. Yes, I replied, my voice trembling. I'm sorry for making you go through that. No, she said softly, I'm glad I did. Someone had to speak the truth. Later, she sent me a recording. It was her conversation with Thomas from the wedding, proof of his complete lack of remorse. And that's when I knew. I wasn't done yet. A few days later, I learned that Thomas was scheduled to give a major presentation at work. The event was open to employees from various departments. I signed up immediately. When the day arrived, I sat quietly in the back of the room. Thomas walked onto the stage, his usual confident smile plastered on his face. His supervisor chuckled and said, Thomas, you look extra motivated today. Must be that newlywed energy. Thomas grinned. Yes, I'll do my best for my family. I had to bite back a laugh. He really thought he could just move on, like nothing had happened. I stood up. The room fell silent. With a single click, I played the recording my mother had sent me. Thomas's voice echoed through the conference hall. The recording revealed everything, his affair, his betrayal, his lies. Gasps filled the room. Someone called out, Thomas, didn't you say the divorce was mutual? I smiled. Oh really, is that what he told you? Because from what I remember, he was sneaking around with my sister while we were still married. I took a deep breath. I'm sorry for bringing personal matters into a work event, but I can't work in the same place as him anymore. I resign, effective immediately. I turned to leave, but then. Wait, a board member spoke up. Teresa, you are an essential part of this company. He turned to Thomas. If anyone should leave, it's you.